So this is an activity for the third grade unit on forces in motion. It's about building rockets. So we start with, what's a rocket? So I have a piece of paper and I ask the class, so if I'm the teacher, I say, what does a rocket look like? It's like a cone on the top. Oh, okay, so if I do something like this, and I put a little cone, does that kind of look like a rocket? Yes, or no, but I don't care because this is what I have. I'm just going to go with it and say, okay, so a rocket has a little cone on the end. This, I'm going to add some fuel to it by blowing some air, and then, so we get motion, but it's not very good. So your question to the class is, can you make a better rocket that would fly better if I put it over the PVC pipe and pushed air through it? Okay, so now you're challenging the class to make a better rocket. You're going to give them these supplies. One 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and then some index cards. I would limit it to maybe 2 index cards per student. And then the idea is you can show them how you would take the paper. Oh, wait, before you do that, show them some pictures of rockets and then have them identify the parts of the rocket that they notice. Okay, so you can just pull up any images. NASA rockets are really good. And then you want to have an image then where you identify the important parts that rockets usually have. And here I have, it's got a cone shape on top. Usually has fins, and these are for direction, but they'll figure that out as they attach fins. And then a fuselage, and this holds the fuel. In this case, our fuel is air. We're pushing air into the fuselage. So you can show them the basic concept for building their fuselage, and then they could build the other parts just based on their creativity and imagination. But the idea is it's got to fit around this tube. Now, if you roll it super tight, and then you tape it down, it's not going to slide off the tube. If I crimp this and I blew some air into it, it doesn't come off the tube. So you'll have kids doing that, and then they'll have to rebuild their rocket. So you can point that out after they make a mistake on it. It's probably not a good idea to do that before, because you want them just to see how it's supposed to work. So a little bit loose, and then I get some tape and I tape it down my fuselage. Okay. So I end up with something like this, the fuselage. Okay. Now if I blow air, it comes out the top. So then they have they'll understand that they need a cone. To build the cone, you can show them that you can take a piece of cardstock and roll it up and twist it. Put your finger inside and roll it. This usually ends up being a little confusing to kids, but once they get the hang of it, it's pretty straightforward. And then you have some kind of cone shape. Okay. So I have one pre-made, and I put some tape on it to hold it. Then if I put it on the rocket, it doesn't really sit flush where I could seal it with tape. So what I have kids do is just trim it and keep trimming it until they get it to a shape that they like. And then just put some tape around it, and you'll end up with something like this. Let me do this for you right now though. Let me take this rocket and show you what happens when you launch it with just the tip on it. Because you want kids to do this to actually experience it. So I've got the tip on here. And if you know, I'll just stand back. It tends to just sort of go off in odd directions. And if they launch it from across the room and they watch each other's do it, or they go outside the room and they launch it farther, it'll wiggle and waggle around. That's what the fins are for. And again, these are just pieces of cardstock. If you put paper on there, it's not rigid enough, so this is index cards. But now, when I launch it, it'll have direction, okay? Okay, so you want to take some time in the class for kids to test out their rockets. Like I said, launching them in the classroom is a little dangerous. You can actually poke your eye out with the tip of the rocket. But if you have a little corner of the classroom where they're launching across, or they go out into the hallway, or that you have an area where you can monitor them through the window, that's fine too. But test it, make it better, and then when everybody seems like they're pretty much ready to go, let's get ready to launch. Here's the basic setup. You're gonna stomp a 2-liter bottle. This is a 1.5 liter bottle. This will also work, but you get the best results from a 2-liter Coke bottle. You're gonna have a rubber tube and a PVC pipe, which is your launcher. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how to put your launching device together. Take the tube, and I have all this for you, so you don't need to purchase this. I have lots of setups for this. Take the tube and you seal it onto the bottle. You just want that to be a tight seal. You take the PVC pipe and you crimp it. I think I put the end that I crimped on the bottle. Get that in there tight, and then you want to seal this. Okay. And that's your launcher. This is where the rocket sits on. Okay. And you're all set. Okay. So if I squeeze this now, I think we would get to launch. Let's see what happens. Yeah! Okay, but let's go outside and really launch it, okay? So you need a team of 2 or 3 people. So you need a partner, someone to hold the bottle and the launcher, and then someone to stomp. And so when you're ready, you aim it and you say, go! So the bottle's gonna get smashed. In my experience, you usually get about 2 or 3 stomps out of a bottle, but you can reinflate it by cupping your hand over the tube and then you can get a couple more stomps out of it, but eventually it's going to crack and then you'll need to replace the bottle. So you want to have maybe 1 or 2 per student.
How's it look, Kendall?
It's wet, but it's still like in proper shape.
Woohoo!
Little ding maybe on the cone.
Do it again.